13.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. How's everybody feeling today? Tuesday? You'd think it was Thirsty Thursday with all the lovely ladies of Liberty I've got coming on the show today. I can't wait to introduce you to Lee Brown, who'll be joining us today for her first time on the Wake Up America show to talk about Kamala Harris and Tim Walz's housing plan, a federal takeover proposed by the Walz, Waltz, waltzing into the White House and taking all your money away. We're going to talk to Lee Brown about that today, 7:30 a.m. Central Time. Can't wait to introduce you. She came up in my feed yesterday on a viral reel that she did talking about her work as in the mortgage industry, in the real estate industry. And she's going to share her wisdom with us this morning at 7:30 a.m. Central. You don't want to miss Lee Brown, a fellow conservative and freedom fighter herself. Speaking of conservative freedom fighters, well, libertarian freedom fighters, I think Camellia would prefer that label. Camellia Peterson for her Thursday sketcheroo. We're going to have some fun with Camellia today and talk about things, I think, other than politics, although it's just like everything is political these days. Things that millennials now are saying boomers got it right. Are you saying to yourself, no? You don't think the boomers got at least some things right? Okay, well, we'll hear from Camellia this morning on that topic and some other things that young people are doing now whenever they're dating. If you thought dating couldn't get any worse, you know, and I'm married now. I got a baby. I feel like I got the last helicopter out of Saigon. But now, apparently, the kids are looking at each other's credit scores. Yeah, yeah.
God! No,
that's the new
God,
thing, is to check out each other's credit
no,
scores.
No!
Do you use Barclays or do you have the Chase Sapphire Rewards? Yes. We're going to talk to Camellia about that at 8 a.m. And of course, it's the regular. Basically, we should just call the segment Make Camellia Blush. You know what I'm saying? Just like Robbie Thurman just said, everyone be thinking of ways to make Camellia blush. Courtney Conover in the chat says, what is dating? Never heard of it. Courtney, you got to make yourself dateable, darling. You got to be charming. It's alarming how charming I'll be. Come on, think Maria, West Side Story. You still got it in you, don't you? Right? The innocence, or you're like at the stage of your life where you're like, beer drinking, like leg up on the couch, poochie ass, whatever, baby. Yeah. Is that where you're at? Have you given up, Courtney? Is that what it is? I'm just teasing. What do we have at 8:30? Angela McArdle with the third-party update, the chair of the Libertarian National Committee. Everybody loves a good Angela McArdle. She overslept last week. What in the God's green? What do you mean? Not everybody in this planet gets up at 4 a.m. like Austin? Well, you know, it helps when you've got a baby going at 4:30 a.m. But, you know, not that I get to take all the credit for the baby, because my wife, Stephanie, has been an absolute angel for the last few weeks. Coming up on now the 1-month anniversary of little baby Hazel. So we're excited about that milestone. I think that means she's no longer considered newborn, which kind of makes me sad because it's been fun to see her in this phase where she's like completely helpless. And, you know, she just like, I don't know, there's something about newborns that's different than the other phases. And then, you know, once they're no longer a newborn, like that's it. You only get to experience newborn once, right? So I guess that just means I got to have another baby. Another baby. What do you say? Another P for Liberty? Courtney Conover says, F charming, I'm a grumbly old lady. Yes, see, I knew it. Grumbly old ladies. Makes you think of this.
I can first.
Sorry, I wouldn't do that to you, Courtney, compare you to Kamala Harris. Well, speaking of Kamala Harris, Joe Biden at Chicago last night in a tearful speech with plenty of fumbling and bumbling reminds us of the weakness of the sitting president of the United States. President Biden, 81 years old, addressed the Democratic National Convention after being unceremoniously pushed aside by his own party. Forced to step down from the nomination, Biden tried to salvage his legacy last night, but his words really only highlighted the chaos and the confusion that have defined his presidency. Kamala Harris is the Democrats' desperate choice. Biden, clearly out of touch, endorsed Kamala Harris as his successor, claiming it was the best decision of his career.
No offense, but it sounds like that's some fucking commie gobbledygook.
But for many people who are on the outside looking in, it's a sign of the Democrats' desperation. They're clinging to a candidate who is untested and unproven. With just 5 months left in his presidency, Biden made a lot of hollow promises that he was going to accomplish all of these things, and promises that absolutely ring empty based on his career track record of failure after failure. He's a president in denial. Biden's claim that he wasn't angry about being forced out is absolutely unbelievable. The man who once vowed to fight is now a shell of his former self, trying to convince the American people that everything is fine when it's clearly not. Biden's speech was delayed and then it got pushed out of prime time, which is kind of symbolic for a presidency that's been off course from the start. By the time he spoke, much of the country had tuned out, just as they've tuned out on his presidency. Biden touted his so-called achievements, but conservatives and libertarians know the truth. His policies have led to skyrocketing inflation, economic instability, and a weakened America. His admission that he's, quote, too old to continue should be a wake-up call to anyone still believing in the Democratic agenda. And as protests were raging outside, Biden acknowledged the anger against his administration, but instead of taking responsibility, he deflected and tried to share credit with Kamala Harris, which just goes to show how fractured the Democratic Party is. On one hand, he says, I understand how the protesters are feeling, and they're right, and they make a lot of good points, but I'm still going to send a lot of bombs and materials and munitions to the Middle East, where they will no doubt not only be used by our allies, but also be captured by our enemies to be used against the American people at some point in the future, I'm sure. Biden's final plea for Democrats to elect Harris and her running mate, Tim Walz, fell flat. Attendees started to leave even before he finished. It's clear his own party is ready to move on. Harris, who will deliver her acceptance speech later this week, she's been enjoying a media honeymoon, protected from scrutiny, but Biden's speech and the lackluster response from his own party shows the cracks in the Democratic facade. Speaking of the media, I have a little meme/picture here to show you of some recent media headlines, which I think you'll find fascinating here. It's not Trump versus Harris. It's Trump versus the media. You can see here, this is the same proposal from both J.D. Vance and Kamala Harris. But listen to the headline. Vance wants to raise the child tax credit to $5,000. Here's why that could be difficult. Okay, well, maybe there are some reasons to critique J.D. Vance's child tax credit. Kamala Harris proposes a $6,000 tax credit for new parents and other middle-class tax breaks. Wait a minute. How come no discussion about here's why that could be difficult? Why is it difficult when J.D. Vance proposes it, but why is it just a news headline when Kamala Harris does the same thing? Fascinating. Then you note these two headlines from CBS News competing with one another. Here's the CBS News headline. Vice President Kamala Harris is rolling out a new policy position, saying she'll fight to end taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers. Yay! I love that plan, Kamala Harris. If you become president, I sure hope you do it. But CBS News has another headline, and here's how they reported it when Trump said it. Former President Trump's vow to stop taxing tips would cost the federal government up to $250 billion over 10 years, according to a, quote, nonpartisan watchdog group. Nonpartisan. It's nonpartisan. It's not affiliated with any party at all. It's not staffed entirely by people who vote Democrat in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. Notice that the headlines here, same position, don't tax tips, but when Trump does it, wow, it's going to cost the federal government over $250 billion. Yes, I have a million billion clips to play for you. Yes, the Wake Up America show is so amazing. that you should have clicked the like button already. But if you haven't, this is your reminder. And yes, if it's your first time here watching the Wake Up America show, you need to click follow on the channel, especially if you enjoy the content. I have a billion clips to play for you from the DNC last night, but I'm holding them back, dang it, until I can tell you about what you should do to support the Wake Up America show, which is to, well, not just...
Can you bless me with something?
Oh, gosh.
Money-wise. Please.
Can you suck it?
What?
What?
You can support the Wake Up America show today and unlock our bonus content. Yes, every day I produce a 5-minute little mini documentary about news that you can use, headlines that we don't have time to hit in the regular show, but I think you need to know. So I produce a 5-minute mini documentary, and you get to unlock it if you donate at least $60 by the end of the show in Rumble Rants, YouTube Super Chats, or the most fun thing to do is to go shopping. Head to forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4, forlibertyshop.com. Hit up the shop, and if by the end of the show today we've hit the $60 goal, then you know what happens. We unlock the bonus content, and then you don't have to watch the commercials when we go to our lovely guests. You don't want to miss the bonus content. We almost missed it yesterday, and then everybody started like chipping in $5 at the end, and I was so proud of you guys. Biden looked hooked at the DNC last night. It gets worse every time you see him, writes Ryan Fournier on Twitter. Take a listen and a look. Yikes.
This is a live shot of President Joe Biden inside the convention hall, where he will give remarks. We had that live
to get a sense of the room, to look at the crowd, as she will be seeing it in a much fuller capacity tonight. Now, the order of the program as she does her testing.
To walk up to the lectern as well. And I will say, Aaron, what we've been hearing from the White House is that he's been fine-tuning this speech all weekend. Obviously, he had a pretty good idea of what it was going to look like a month ago. Now that speech has changed and is going to be focused. Donald Trump claims that you were pushed out, put from the top of the ticket, and this amounts to a coup from your party. What do you make of those claims? His what?
What's your message to people who are waiting for you to pass the torch here or taking in this historic moment?
Okay, Joe Biden looks fairly cooked, but let's hear what he actually has to say during his speech, and let's see how he sounded. Here he is battling with a teleprompter.
In its decision overturning Roe v. Wade, as you heard earlier tonight, the United States Supreme Court majority wrote the following, quote, "Women are not without electoral or political power."
Yeah,
no
cheer.
kidding.
No kidding, huh?
MAGA Republicans found out the power of women in 2022.
Just wait a minute before we finish this clip here. Did he say that women are going without electrical power? Man, these women are really suffering these days. I love it when enterprising conservatives will like go around with petitions sometimes, and they'll say, we need to end women's suffrage, and the women will be like, yes, we must end the women's suffering. The women are suffering. Yes, oh no. The women are suffering. Their vote counts just the same as yours, folks. The women are suffering. This time they're suffering without electrical power. Joe Biden last night in a speech also repeated the lie, and they know that it's a lie. They just know that it polls well to lie about Donald Trump's comments regarding Charlottesville. Here's Joe Biden repeating the lie.
When the president was asked what he thought had happened, Donald Trump said, and I quote, "There are very fine people on both sides. My God." That's what he said. That is what he said and what he meant.
Look at the army of NPCs. Pause here, right there. Look at this. These people are fit for a king, and they deserve one. Look at they you can just see how they've all been programmed. You got to see the mildly low testosterone male here, right? You've got the angry Karen down here. Right, you've got who have you got over here? You've got the man who is terrified of his wife, who controls every move that they're saying. All of these people here, you can see, have gotten the latest download of the brain chip to support Harris and Walz. It was tough to watch Joe Biden's speech at the DNC last night
we have
because of moments like these.
1,000 trillion. We have 1,000 billionaires in America.
We have 1,000 billion trillionaires. What?
We have 1,000 trillion. We have 1,000 billionaires in America.
What? We have 1,000 trillion billionaires in this country?
America is a nation that
America
can be
is a great
defined
nation.
in a single word. I was going to put him. Excuse me.
We have. Wait a minute. One more time. We have a what?
We have 1,000 trillion. We have 1,000 billionaires in America.
But today, Junior, for the love of God, 1,000 trillion billionaires. But the speech just continued to devolve through the
It's
night.
not hyperbole. It's because Medicare no longer has to pay those exorbitant prices to the big pharma. But look,
They're all shouting thank you. They're like, thank you. But what they're meaning when they say thank you, they're not saying thank you because of what he did when it came to Medicare. They're saying thank you for stepping aside. They're saying thank you for stepping down.
well, thank you, Kamala, too.
Look at her. She's like, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. She's like, yeah, this old man. She was the one who was going to put the knife in his back, by the way. At least according to reports in the White House, is that Obama spoke to Joe Biden and told him to step aside because Kamala Harris was going to have to cast the deciding vote to force him to step aside, invoking the 25th Amendment. That's at least according to the news reports that I've read. Joe Biden, I'm going to pull a Joe Biden here, brags about building 500,000 electric charging vehicles. He only built 7.
Including the IBW installing 500,000 charging stations all across America.
Yeah, they built 7. Oh, thank you, Andy Opperman, for getting those Rumble Rant donations started. We appreciate that. He says, commie chameleon. And her sidekick, Tuck It, Timpon Waltz. Very funny, Andy. Thanks, Andy. Appreciate you, brother. Only $50 more to go to rock the show and to unlock today's bonus content. Make sure you get those Rumble Rant donations in or go to 4libertiesshop.com. Kamala and I committed to strengthening what, Joe? What are they committed to strengthening?
Kamala and I are committed to strengthening legal immigration. Kamala and I are committed to strengthening legal immigration.
Oh, Kamala and I are committed to strengthening illegal immigration. Okay, yeah, we know. Chameleon. Now this can be in my head all day. Donald Trump would be able to weaponize the DOJ, according to the Democrats, without a hint of irony.
Donald Trump would be able to weaponize the Department of Justice to go after his political opponents. He could even turn the FBI into his own personal police force. That is not how it works in America.
Yeah, it actually kind of is how it works in America because you all weaponize the Department of Justice against Donald Trump. These people are completely self-unaware. They don't like.
Okay, I can first.
This is classic projection. Accuse others of that which you are guilty to deflect from the blame. Yes, Drew Van Runkle over the chat. The stream did start on time today. Thank you. Were you here on time today? This is your first comment I'm seeing. It's 7:18. Where's your Drew Runkle? Do you know where your Drew Van Runkle is? Joe Biden's brain breaks as the clock strikes midnight and he starts talking about how SCOTUS said women aren't without electrical power, writes Alex. Yes, we played this earlier, but it's still so funny. I'm going to play it twice.
Women
Here we go.
are not without electoral. Women.
Okay, I can first.
Women are without electrical power. Aren't without. Okay, so the Supreme Court said that women aren't without electrical power.
Not without electoral. Women.
Look at his face right there, guys. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Oh. Okay, can you see my face? Oh. He's kind of like, yeah, it's over. Back from the dead.
Women are not without electoral.
Go to bed, Grandpa. During the pandemic, Kamala and I helped states and cities get their schools back open, said Joe Biden.
During the pandemic, Kamala and I helped states and cities get their schools back open.
Oh, did they? Well, here's an interesting attack ad that Democrats ran against Donald Trump in that same exact time period. Take a look.
New cases in a single day.
4 million cases.
Desperate to reopen schools because he thinks it will save his re-election.
We have to open the schools.
Critical shortage of PPE.
Threatening their funding.
When they don't open their schools, we're not going to fund them.
Ignoring how the virus spreads, risking teachers and parents' lives, going against the advice of experts.
It's had very little impact on young people.
Do you trust him to do what's best for our children? Because this is not a test. Trump is failing.
I aced it. I aced the test.
He did ace it, and he did ace the test, and Joe Biden didn't take the test, but he did say
During
this.
the pandemic, Kamala and I helped states and cities get their schools back open.
Yeah, did you think that I was going to miss that on the Wake Up America show? That little switcheroo that they tried to pull on us here. Good morning. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, we're glad to have you. People like Drew Van Runkle. Well, welcome to the show, Drew. Glad you could make it, Drew. Been talking for 20 minutes without you, Drew Van Runkle. Don't be like Drew Van Runkle. Join us live starting at 7 a.m. Central every single day, like the cool kids, like Mighty Megatron and Bluetrike and my brother Justin Peterson and Robbie Thurman and Tony Martinez and Southcott and L-Dubs and Courtney Conover and all the cool kids at 7 a.m. on the spot. Just kidding, Drew. We'd love to have you guys be regular guests. The show does stream live Mondays through Fridays from 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a 2-hour tour de force of economic freedom, personal liberty, and also a lot of funny. We're going to speak to Lee Brown, a real estate expert, here in a little bit less than 10 minutes about the proposed federal takeover of housing control when it comes to zoning. Lee Brown posted a video yesterday or a few days ago that went viral, popped up into my feed, and I reached out to her to talk to us a little bit about what Walz Harris are proposing. I keep putting Walz Harris on the top of the ticket. Maybe it's because he's a white guy. I don't know. That's racist. We still got a few more minutes, though. If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to click that like button. You can text the show as well. Let me know what's on your mind. And when you text the show, that phone line is open night or day. I love to check the text messages in the evening. Sometimes I hear from people who are listening to the audio podcast version later. You can text me at 573-319-1586. Again, the text line is open anytime, night or day, 573-319-1586. Democrats outside of the convention were making themselves heard last night. Take a listen.
Enough.
We fighting for freedom.
But enough. I know what you fight for. Okay, I know what's happening in Gaza. I was out here too.
All right, then.
But it comes a time, goddammit, when it's time to go home. People want to go home.
Encampment. That Palestinians are asking us to encamp and escalate. That's what we're doing out here. It's a public park. We escalate. We encamp it for the people, for Gaza. If you ain't got to deal with it, that's cool.
I understand what you're saying.
All right, then we cool.
But enough is enough.
All right, well then you don't have to do it.
Enough is enough.
We out here. We going hard for the Palestinians, man.
Enough is enough. You know, Kamala is supposed to be black, so I'm definitely trying to support her too. Y'all gonna fuck up the whole convention for Chicago, make it a bad. They already say this a bad town. This ain't no bad town. It's just bad people in the town.
Woo, girl. It ain't a bad town. It's just some bad people in the town. She's calling them out. Get it, girl.
I ain't worried about the police. That's who I got to call if something happens to me.
Oh, Shantae telling off Antifa. Thank you, by the way, to Courtney Conover for sending me this clip.
If something happens to me, I don't have nobody else to call. I don't know your phone number. I know 911. So you get up off the police.
You get up off the police, listen to her.
You need to get y'all lives together. Like that preacher say, y'all hate people, you gotta forgive people. You gotta forgive people. It's bad in every race. But right is right and wrong is wrong.
Wrong is wrong.
All these scared ass people out here.
Apartheid and genocide is wrong.
Listen, it's wrong what's happening. I was out here for that. But I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like the people jumping them damn gates and shit.
You don't have to jump.
Okay.
There's freedom not jumping.
No, I didn't jump.
You don't have to.
Ain't that damn stupid.
Ain't that damn stupid, she says. Oh my God, I love this. We are now $32 towards the $60 goal to unlock today's bonus content. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I still got a million billion clips to play, and I think you'll like it. I'm so excited, but I got to go get Lee Brown. Here's the deal. Look at it. Okay, here's the story. I got to go get Lee Brown. She's going to talk to us about the proposed federal takeover of zoning by Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. You don't want to miss it. We haven't unlocked the bonus content yet, which means your butts are watching commercials. Don't even think about storming the fence. You got to pay $60 to ride this ride. We've raised $32 towards the $60 goal, so go buy something nice at forlibertyshop.com, and that bonus content will be unlocked in no time. We'll be right back with Lee Brown on the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network.
The Cantina crew, this is Elon Musk, the CEO of Twitter, and I just want to say thank you for watching the Wake Up America show. I've decided that Austin Peterson will be the new CEO of Twitter.com, effective immediately. First thing to do, though, is I've got to go and blast off into space.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state, reject the Antichrist! Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins!
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please click that like button. And if today's your first time watching the Wake Up America show, we'd love to have you be a regular guest. The show's schedule is Mondays through Fridays, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a 2-hour tour de force of economic freedom and personal liberty. We also have a whole hell of a lot of fun. We've got some lovely ladies on the show today. As usual, Camelia Peterson will join us at 8:30. We'll have Angela McCardle from the Libertarian National Committee, but I can't wait for you to meet my next guest. Her name is Lee Brown. She's joining us live this morning to talk about a proposal by Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to federalize the housing market. Now, what does that mean? And what are some of the big changes that have been made to the real estate market thanks to the Biden administration? Let's talk about that with her live right now. Good morning, Lee, and welcome to the Wake Up America show.
Good morning, Austin. It's a pleasure to be with you and with your audience.
Glad to have you here. It's a beautiful day in America, but not everything about America is looking optimistic. When I see what's being proposed by Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, I can understand why people fling around the communist accusations. And, we don't have to get into the economic history of the 20th century. Let's focus on the 21st century. What is it that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are proposing in regards to a federal takeover, per se, of the housing market?
Well, the first thing everybody needs to understand is that this is not a new idea, which is obviously no surprise. Everything they do is a regurgitated idea of somebody else's. This is an Obama era plan. It was known as Affirmatively Furthering Fair Housing, AFFH. The Democrats didn't get it through under Obama, and then in subsequent years, they tucked it into the Equality Act, H.R. 5, which is what Pelosi was pushing so hard as Speaker of the House, which was the bill that would absolutely take every right away from women. And they also snuck this in there under the guise of, if you want fair housing, you have to let the feds tell you what to build anywhere, which is actually pretty inherently racist to say that if you're going to put apartments in the middle of a single family neighborhood, it's going to be full of minorities. I mean, I know people of all shapes, stripes, and colors, and they live where they want to live. So that was the plan, was if your local zoning prohibits multifamily in a single family neighborhood, the feds could come in and say, no, you have to do what we say. That's the idea that's coming back up.
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced this. I used to live in Old Town Alexandria, Virginia, and it's some of the most beautiful and prime real estate in the entire country. And you'll be walking along in a completely safe neighborhood, absolutely beautiful houses that date back to the 1700s. And then all of a sudden you're in the ghetto. And that was my first contact with the Section 8 housing. And I asked myself, how does this exist? Well, they force it into these communities, just like they believe in forced diversity, equity, and inclusion when it comes to the standards that they want to promote, not just in the federal government. Now they want to bring it into the housing market, is what you're saying. So a proposed federal takeover of zoning from the Walz-Harris administration. What would that really mean other than just, forcible changes for Section 8 housing? I mean, would there be other changes to the housing market with those kinds of, control, with that kind of federal control?
Well, the biggest thing is it's a loss of what you want locally, and where you live is different than where I live, and each county has different plans, different economic incentives. And I'm not saying that every county gets it right. So please understand, y'all, local controls aren't perfect. But here locally, if I have an issue, I can get to my elected officials because I know where they are. I can get to the meetings and I can be heard. And they'll actually back down if enough voices get loud, as opposed to the federal government where they're really trying to suppress the voice of the people. I'm all about local controls. And I'm actually, as a realtor, I'm about smart growth. I don't want any area to say yes to everything or say no to everything. We've got to have some balance. So when you look at things like Section 8, it's not a terrible program. Some people have a good plan for it. I look at 55 plus Section 8, where you're helping an elderly person on a fixed income. Well, yeah, maybe we should have some way to support people that have served the country, paid their taxes, and then life didn't work out right. But there's got to be this idea that it doesn't last forever, that you can actually run background checks and criminal checks, but the changes to Section 8 are actually, again, taking away control from local landlords and local governments and saying you have to let anybody we want live anywhere they want, which doesn't make sense. As a landlord, I should have some property rights over what I own or where I live. And of course, California tends to lead the way on bad ideas. They removed single family zoning statewide 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. It might be 3. So when they banned single family zoning in the state, what they effectively said is that the elites that already have their single family home, they're good. But you little peasants over here, if you want to have a single family neighborhood, too bad, so sad, no more for you.
Now, Lee, I don't consider myself to be an anarchist, but I call myself something pretty damn near close. But when it comes to the market, I do consider myself something of a market anarchist, which does have me, rubbing the local Republican Party the wrong way when it comes to the question of NIMBYism. I'm sure you've heard the term "not in my backyard." In your viral video, you display that you understand the concept of the laws of supply and demand. And my argument, Lee, is that the real problem with the housing crisis in this country is a lack of supply, not a lack of demand. Plenty of people want to move into homes, but when I go to my local Republican meetings and they talk about building new housing so that we can actually hire employees in this town and attract workers who will come in, who will be, middle class and live in middle class homes and middle class housing units. Every Republican that I know suddenly turns redder than Joseph Stalin, and all of a sudden it's, oh no, not in my backyard. We don't want to build these houses in my back. We want these in my community. In your video, you do acknowledge that big part of the problem here is that we can't build houses in our communities because everybody's got NIMBYism.
Well, and that's why I think it's got to be a smart growth strategy. I am in one of those counties where the candidates running for the county commission are saying nothing new. Basically, it's pull up the drawbridge. We're here. Nobody else can come in. And what I remind them is that they have kids and grandkids that they would like to stay in the county and not go an hour away. We also have workers that don't have the money to drive in from an hour away because of the cost of fuel and the way that the used car market got destroyed back in cash for clunkers. They can't replace their car. There's all these other factors going on. And we would like to have a good broad market with a lot of price diversity. But if you're going to do that, you also have to address what's happening in your marketplace with who's coming in. And I've been asking the question for the last several years, when are we going to agnostically look at the math on the illegals coming in? Because we have a true demand problem when you calculate for not just household formation, since millennials are late to get married, but they're finally getting that done, finally building some families. And then you have the illegals. Of course, the argument back is, well, we don't know where they are. That might be part of the problem, because I know where the safe houses are. As a realtor, I can tell you when they are listed because there's a lock on every bedroom door. We know what's going on. You have to account for the math so you can figure out what's going on. But hey, let's talk about something that could be a local control. Why are we letting the hedge funds, the BlackRock, buy so many houses all over the country? They own a huge chunk of the property here in the Charlotte, North Carolina market. Why are we allowing that? That might help with our demand issues if we just say, hey, hedge funds, stop it.
We're speaking to Lee Thomas Brown. She's a broker and an owner. She works with One Community Real Estate in Concord. Concord, do you call it Concord or Concord?
You said it right the first time. I was so
Concord
proud of
is
Concord.
right. I thought
Yankees say
Concord was.
Concord.
I say Concord, but I know some people say Concord. The
That's what
heathens.
Yankees say.
Yeah, that's right. We're speaking to Lee Brown about the housing market right now. She's an expert on such things. I saw her viral reel the other day where she was discussing the proposed federal takeover of zoning practices by the Kamala Harris Tim Walz campaign. Hopefully that doesn't happen and we'll have Donald Trump win, but we can't have that if we don't all work together and pull in the same direction. And we have a lot of different ways of looking at things as Republicans, but at least, well, the Democrats talk about diversity, but there's not a whole lot of diversity of thought over on their side, Lee. So I'm glad that you will share your opinions with us. And I do highly recommend that people follow you over on Instagram. And Lee is Leigh for those who are listening to the audio podcast version and can't see her lovely name with the Barbie lettering there underneath her on the real live show. Lee, and when it comes to the housing market, people are also very confused about the new rules that have been imposed when it comes to who can profit from which side of the transaction. For your real estate agent, do you pay your real estate agent now? Are they forbidden from getting paid? We've heard so many conflicting stories. Please explain it to us like we're 5 years old, the new rules when it comes to who can get paid in the real estate transaction.
Well, I'm glad you asked because if you read anything in the mainstream media, what they're saying is you don't need an agent anymore. You don't have to pay anybody. Just go click on the interwebs and buy a house. Well, real estate doesn't work like that because there are so many factors that go in. As anybody knows, the first time you buy a house, you figure out it's a complex transaction and you're talking about ongoing expenses for many years while you have it. The job of the realtor is to help guide you in all of those processes. Well, in the past, the buyer could pick an agent out and that agent will be compensated through the transaction. So think about that as a chocolate cake where the eggs were already included in the batter. So the buyer didn't have to scrape up any extra cash. The rules that have come down are primarily driven by an NGO known as a Consumer Federation of America. And I pretty much think they are evil and demonic because they have been trying to destroy real estate for decades now. They are driving the DOJ. And remember, y'all, this is not coming from the realtors when you're confused and irritated. It's coming from the Biden DOJ. DOJ and the CFA come up with these rules to impose on the realtors and say, okay, buyers, now you're going to have to pay your buyer out of pocket because we're not going to let it stay baked in the cake. Well, when you take the eggs out of the cake falls. So right now, our market is in a little bit of a frozen status because buyers don't know how to move forward when they don't have piles of extra cash because their cash is usually for down payment. Now, realtors are working with sellers to say, hey, if they ask for it, you can still get it paid for. So what's happened is an efficient market has been made inefficient, but it can still work. So as a buyer, you can still have an agent. You may have to pay them out of pocket, but the agent may be able to have the seller compensate them like they used to. If the seller says yes, seller might say no. It's just confusing. But long story short, the government is trying to say to buyers, you don't need an agent. And we know what happens with especially first-time buyers. When you don't have an agent, you get frustrated, you give up and say, screw it, I'll just rent. We as realtors want to make sure that everybody has access to the American dream. And we work with people of all price points in all areas to say, look, if your dream is a single wide out in the country, let's go figure it out. But the government does not want you to have that opportunity. They are trying to strip you of professional advice. And the last thing I'll add is that there is a common thread amongst the trolls and bots on the internet, which includes most of our journalists now. And it says that you in performing real estate shouldn't be paid. There's this constant message that realtors don't deserve to be paid, which is pretty frustrating when you look at this profession. It's all 1099s. We're salespeople, we're on commission. If we don't sell, we don't get paid. So why exactly is the government trying to ruin over 1 million small businesses? Because you have 1.5 million realtors. By the way, the average realtor makes $54,000 a year. So they're already below the poverty line, basically, when you account for how taxes work. It's a pretty dark thing that's happening. So if you're in the public, call your realtor and tell them you appreciate what they did for you at some point. and then tell the world that your realtor's a small business and you want to make sure that as a consumer, there's somebody in your area you can ask questions of, because if you're reduced to asking questions of the government or of Zillow, good luck, buddy, because it's not going to apply to you in your area. And where are you going to get advice and counsel?
Lee, some of our listeners are in the Rumble chat and they're asking questions. They're concerned about this buyer's contract to look at houses.
It
Yeah,
should be, Austin.
yeah, they're confused. Help us understand what that is.
Okay, hey Rumble friends, I have a Rumble channel too because I believe in free speech. What's up?
That's
You
right.
should know this. The government, Biden's DOJ. So make no mistake about it. And if you have friends that are determined to vote for the Democratic ticket because of the lady bits and the skin color, whatever, you should know that's the person who sets the attorney general who runs the DOJ. It is the Biden DOJ that said you, the consumer, cannot walk into a house now without signing a document. We, the realtors, have used the showing process for years as an audition time. Hey, let's get to know one another. You'll be covered by my E&O. I'm going to do a professional job for you. The new rule says, I know you want to see that house, but we're going to have to sign this binding document first that says we're together, and we're together can be non-exclusive, which means you could have lots and lots of realtors, which frankly, any realtor that's willing to be in a group orgy of realtors, probably not the one you want. Or you can sign an exclusive representation and say, I want a quality realtor like you, Lee Brown. But still, we're going to have to be married together before we walk in the house. So who are you going to trust? I mean, it's a bit much. And I will just say that as realtors, many of us are working our tails off to educate the buyers before we go near a house so they feel comfortable. But if a realtor says, I'll take you in, don't worry about that paperwork. I'll go around the rules. You should be a little hesitant about somebody that's willing to flout the rules, because we were just told yesterday the DOJ is watching everything that we do. So I am a little concerned that they're not done yet trying to destroy your opportunity to have an agent, and they're starting with something as onerous as paperwork. It's crazy.
Lee, this is great stuff, and you're an incredible guest, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. I wish I had you for an hour to have this conversation. I've only got you for a few more minutes, so I've got to prioritize here, and I'm going to be a little selfish now and ask you something that is more deeply personal to me, but hopefully the audience will get something out of it as well. My wife and I, we just had our first child, and we're very excited about our baby girl, and we're thinking about having more and what a growing family will look like in terms of real estate for us in the future. We might want to be a little bit closer to grandpa so that they can spend more time together. But when we look at the housing market right now, I mean, we got in I think in 2020, we got in at like 3.2 for our interest rate, and it was so reasonable. And now it's like, I look around and I'm like, we might have to live here forever. But then I remember back in 2008, looking at properties in Florida that were underwater during the height of the housing crisis, really kicking myself for not buying one of those properties then. And I think, are we sort of committed to a boom bust cycle when it comes to the housing market? I mean, can there be sort of a soft landing, or do these prices just ratchet up forever? We know that we've seen 2008 that they can come crashing down. But is maybe that's a way that the Federal Reserve pumps out cash and the way the interest rates are working, but is there a way for like interest rates to kind of like ease off softly so that we can see some reasonable rates when it comes to buying homes? Or what do you expect to see in the housing market in terms of prices and costs, and maybe the tax question for my final question as we go out?
Well, here's my answer you probably don't want. But first of all, can we all agree we should audit the Fed? That's our hashtag, audit the Fed, because they've never been audited and they have too much control as a central bank. When the central bank has control, they make bad decisions. And our interest rates were artificially low from 2008 all the way until 2022. And when that happens, we had a free money environment. Our elderly were left without good savings, which is why so many of them are in the poverty brackets now, because their CDs were worthless. The bond market went to nothing. A free money environment benefits one group at the expense of somebody else. What happened is, with all of the unnecessary spending that's happened from both sides of the aisle, and I swear to God, if these Republicans don't stop agreeing to all this ridiculous Democratic spending, you will all be dead to me forever. But because they all keep spending, inflation had started to really jack when we got to 22. The only way you stop the increase in inflation is for interest rates to be higher than the rate of inflation. Right now, the rate of inflation is not down. And can we all just pay attention? They keep changing the inputs. This last number that said inflation's down, y'all, the only thing that went down was the number on used cars. Well, you know what? The American public can't afford to buy a used car right now. That one input dropped the rate. Please pay attention to the tabs, read all the details, or follow me because I can explain it to you. But when you realize that the inflation rate is still high, the interest rates have to be high. If they drop interest rates below the rate of inflation, inflation's going to keep going. So the trade-off you have to ask yourself, Austin, is would we rather have higher inflation, so those diapers and everything else keep costing more, or would we rather have a low interest rate so we can change houses? Well, of course, you're going to say, well, give me a low interest rate for just a minute, and then we'll move, and then we can go back to fixing it. But that causes an upheaval in the economic markets, and especially in our equities markets. So what has to happen is we have to have a mental reset, because historically, over a 40-year window, interest rates hang out around 6.5%. We're actually at the 40-year average. It's just that your generation got a little spoiled because you only knew rates at 3%. We're just in a reset right now. It's going to have to stay between 6 and 7 so that there's a balance between how we manage our finances and how we don't damage another sector of the economy at the same time. I will also add in being a medium-aged woman of indiscriminate years, but I don't believe in adjusting with Botox and all that fake stuff. So you need to know this, y'all. Buy real estate. I don't care if the markets are up or down. If I look back 20 years and 30 years, I wish I'd bought more, because it's always cheaper 20 and 30 years ago. Even if the market does this in the interim, it does this over the long haul. So you have to think about real estate as a long haul purchase. And let me add one more thing. You're a young fellow. You might have forgotten that once upon a time, Americans lived in a 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath ranch house with 1,188 square feet. Mom and daddy had a bedroom, the boys had a bedroom, and the girls had a bedroom, and we were fine. We don't have to have ensuite bath and beds for everyone. And as you and your wife have kids, and please have at least 4 so they all have a friend, put the boys in one bedroom and the girls in the other, and keep them out of mom and daddy's room. And actually, they'll learn how to get along and share very well.
Okay, Lee, as you said earlier about the interest rates, my generation is a bit spoiled. Lee Brown, this was a great segment, and I wish we could talk for much longer. I'm very impressed.
Well, have me back, Austin.
Yeah.
I'd love to be a regular guest, because I see that your listeners are intelligent, and I love that.
They sure are. 839 of them over on Rumble, maybe around 1,000 or so over on X.com today, loving what they're hearing. And they would love to follow you. So where do you recommend people go to find out more about your work there, Lee?
I am very spicy about politics on X, so I'm at Lee Brown over there. If you also enjoy life stuff, then on Instagram, I'm a little bit softer over there because of regular people, but I'm at Lee Thomas Brown over there. Facebook, I don't really like, but I'm on there, and I'm on the TikTok only by necessity, even though I don't like the Chinese communists having access to my stuff, so I get a little spicy there too.
Lee, we love it. You're in good company here. Oh, and by the way, if you like the audit the Fed movement, might I recommend the abolish the Fed movement? But that's a conversation.
I'm good with that too. We can start with audit, then abolish, step by step.
Lee Brown, you rock, Lee. Lots of people are going to be following you from this today, and we'll definitely have you back in the future. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Austin. Take care.
Thanks very much. Good stuff. You'll love to see it. Let's give her a round of applause. Her first time, Lee Brown, on the show. When I saw her reel, I was like, this lady is awesome. I hope you enjoyed her. If you did, click the like button. If today's the first time that you're watching the Wake Up America show, we'd love to have you be a regular guest. The show schedule is Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. And I did see a sneaky little dollar donation during the chat. I think we're at $33 towards the $60 bonus goal. Hopefully we'll hit there. There are 2,000 some hundred other people joining us over on X.com this morning. Good job. Way to go. We're kicking some butt today. We've got great guests still left to go, but we haven't unlocked the bonus content yet. So that means that you got to watch the commercials. So here's what I recommend that you do. Head on over to forlibertyshop.com during the commercial break while I go get Camellia Peterson to make her blush. Everybody loves a good make Camellia blush segment. We're going to laugh. We're going to cry. We're going to talk about spoiled, not spoiled, but spoils millennials who are now looking at the boomer generation and saying to themselves, maybe the boomers made a few good points. If you thought Lee Brown was fun, wait until Camellia comes on, and then Angela McArdle with the Libertarian Party. After that, we've got so much more fun left to go. Don't go away. It's the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network.
Expanse of time, a year might seem like a mere moment, but oh, what a year it's been. In September 2022, Austin and Stephanie Peterson embarked on a journey to wake up America. They began humbly, with just 20 souls tuning in, learning, listening, and though challenges arose, like the looming shadow of YouTube demonetization, their spirit never waned. And now, thanks to you, thousands rise with the sun to join them, to listen, to engage, to be a part of a community. So here's to you, and to Wake Up America, for memories shared, for friends made, for the journey ahead, and for never, ever forgetting to rise and freedom. Happy anniversary.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Is the outdoor of your home about as exciting as a library? Then spice it up and unbore your space with our custom metal signs. Crafted with love and a bit of libertarian magic, you can customize your own metal sign at ap4libertyshop.com. So head to ap4libertyshop.com, customize your own metal sign today.
Welcome to a world of vocal discovery at Peterson Voice Studio. I'm Justin Peterson, here to guide your musical journey. Envision a place where your voice reaches new heights, where every note tells a story. We embrace all singers, from the enthusiastic shower vocalists to aspiring stars, ensuring each voice finds its unique rhythm and tone. Are you ready to elevate your voice? Visit petersonvoicestudio.com and sign up for remote lessons tailored just for you. Let's begin this melodious journey together.
Thanks for sticking around. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. Did you guys enjoy Lee? You voted for the Democrats because of those lady bits. You don't know what to say. Well, have we been spoiled as millennials? I certainly think no. It's been hard. My life's so much pain and suffering. When I look at the boomers, I look at them with a jaundiced eye, perhaps. A fisheye, if you will. Out of the left of my jaundiced fisheye, I have my left eye, I have my right. But my next guest doesn't. She's Camellia Peterson, and she's joining us live today for her regular Tuesday and Thursday sketch. And she's such a good sport.
Yeah, thank you.
She lets me tease her about her physical deformities.
What can you say? You know, if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't laugh at anything, right?
It's true. It's true.
I love, by the way, go ahead. I've loved so far, like what I was able to catch. I didn't catch the entire thing with Lee, but I loved what I heard. It was so much fun. And she's a little spicy, which I love. But also that video that you played earlier with that woman taking that, janky white, millennial dude with the scrappy beard or whatever to task. That was so awesome.
Oh, man, I know. I mean, this is why people got to tune into the Wake Up America show on the regs, right? So we got like 750 people or so on Rumble, and I don't know at this point how many thousands. Well, usually it starts getting kind of out of control over on X. Once things cross like the 2,000 line, yeah, 2,950 people over on X.com joining us this morning. What's up? Things we're getting a little rowdy over there. So we're glad to have everybody over on all of the multiple platforms. Hopefully you'll come join us over at rumble.com/AP4Liberty. Thanks to Floby Tenderson, says bonus content today partially sponsored by thewhitehangerboutique.com. My wife wants you ladies to be cute, so go support a freedom loving small business. Thank you, Floby Tenderson, for the Rumble rant. And that puts us at $43 towards the $60 goal to unlock today's bonus content. We will do it. Camelia, today's topic is fun. Unless you had something you really wanted to say about the Democratic convention last night, like speak now or forever hold your peace.
Right. No, it's funny. Like it's sad, funny all at the same time. Like it's just a sight to behold. And I'm really ready for some lighter topics because everybody's so angry all of the time. And, you just want to have something to be mad about. And I'm like, everybody needs to lighten up.
Yeah, no, people definitely need to lighten up, which is why I'd like to pick topics like these for you, because I know that you have a sense of humor and can take a joke even when it's at your expense, as we've already noted. Millennials are sharing the, quote, older person hills that they'll die on, and boomers may have a point about these. Did you enjoy this article, Camelia?
I did. And I would like to point out that, I think really that we just need to retitle Gen X the invisible generation because we get totally skipped over all of the time. And I don't know what's up with that. Although, Gen X is with millennials on these, I just gotta say.
I am like the oldest a millennial can be. In 1981 is considered to be like a millennial, but a geriatric millennial. So I'm like Joe Biden of millennials essentially. And you are Gen X, not to find a point on things.
Yeah.
So you feel a little forgotten, but then there is your parents, my parents, right? The boomer generation. And you know what? They're getting a lot of crap today for, voting for the politicians that have put this system in place that have destroyed the economy and, for being selfish. And there's all these boomers who are like quote unquote Republicans who are like country looking people that are appearing in ads and saying, we're boomers and we have everything in the world we've ever wanted and had a wonderful life. And now we're going to our kids by voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. So it's kind of like, you boomers, right? There's this very much every generation is kind of looking at boomers going, do we have to teach you this lesson again, old man?
Right. Well, and I would like to say when we talk about boomers, boomer is definitely also a state of mind. So we're totally going to okay boomer the millennials today and have fun doing it.
We're going to okay boomer the millennials today. Quest Fanning says, I vote we tax Dan Crenshaw's good eye over to Camelia. That's mean.
No, Dan Crenshaw likes to wear a patch because that's cooler.
I actually think it would look cool if you wore a patch one day for Halloween is coming up. Maybe this year, Camelia, let's do something for Halloween. And
do
you could
sexy
be a pirate
or something.
Sexy pirate, yes. Vote sexy pirate with your Rumble rants. Okay, let's start this article. Number 1, no. You cannot listen to music, videos, calls, or whatever in public without headphones. Let's hear it. Okay, so I'm a millennial, geriatric. The kids these days playing their kids' bop on their cell phones. When I see somebody doing that, having that conversation, or they're talking on their phone where they have their phone in front of them and it's on speaker.
And FaceTiming.
Sometimes they're FaceTiming, but sometimes they're just talking on the phone and it's on speaker and it's in front of their face and they're in the supermarket in line and we all have to listen to it. And I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a very civil person and that tests the limits of my civility.
Yes. So if the boomers feel that way, which I'm sure they do, I definitely do. But I'll tell you, Camelia, as someone who lived in New York City and in Washington, D.C., New York was obviously worse. In New York, people are doing circus acts in the trains, up on the steel bars and stuff. I was actually really proud when I saw a video the other day of some idiot doing the acrobatic crap in the subway, very poorly, I might add. And someone says, "This is not a fucking jungle gym." I was just like, dang. And he probably got murdered by the person for saying that. But yes, people on the subway, on the trains, on buses, playing, talking at full volume. I went to Japan and you shut your damn mouth on the trains, and I loved it. What is it? Do they think that they just don't? Is this solipsism? No one else exists?
I don't even understand it because to me, it seems like it would just be more difficult to hear. Like, isn't it easier to hear if you're like holding it up to your head?
Well, that's why they turn it up max volume,
Right?
Max volume, right? So it's
I don't
like,
know.
I don't know. All right. So the next item on the list, because we also have a little dating topic to discuss. Here we go. I hate downloading an app for every frickin' thing. I'm not clogging up my phone just for one baseball game ticket.
Right.
Email me a PDF of my ticket. Okay, a minor annoyance, but still an annoyance.
Yeah, it is. Like I was just looking the other day at how many apps I have on my phone and how many I use, how often. It's just like, and every like on Instagram, if you get ads now or whatever it is, like they don't just take you to the website a lot of times now. They take you directly to download their app and you like can't shop from their, online shop unless you download the app. And I'm like, nah, no, thank you. No.
Yeah, and some of these apps are less useful than the websites, right? You've got to go to the
Right.
website and then like set it like for desktop so your computer thinks that it's on a desktop instead of because you don't get full functionality and the app doesn't let you do it. It's a pain in the butt. It's a first world problem perhaps, but it is an okay boomer moment for the millennials. Okay, this one though, this next one, Camelia, really pisses me off. Number 3, will you please read it for the audience? Can you?
I can't. I don't have it up on my thing, but if you would go ahead.
That's okay. New car headlights. Too
Oh my
damn
gosh.
bright.
Right. Yes. All these LED headlights and the blue ones.
Oh
Like, what's
my
up with the blue
God.
ones?
They're burning my retinas, right? And I mean,
And the SUVs. Like, we're just going to make a law that everybody has to drive the same size vehicle so all the SUVs and trucks can quit blinding me.
right. And Camelia, I'm like, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I mean, like, you kind of have reduced visibility, right? So I mean, like, I'm sure for you, it's like, my eye, you know what I mean? You've only got one. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to keep
Infinitely worse, right?
It's worse, right? Isn't it worse? Like the depth perception and everything you've got to deal with, and then somebody's shining their damn blue light in your eye.
I mean, sure, probably. Like, I don't have a point of comparison, so maybe.
Camelia, I feel bad. But no, something needs to change. What needs to change? Does Kamala Harris need to step in and just be like, we're going to force every car to, turn their lights down?
I mean, how libertarian is that, right?
No, it's not libertarian. But is it libertarian to burn somebody's eyeballs?
That's true. I mean, when you get into whether or not it's a safety issue, then I think that there's room to talk about that.
Yeah. You don't have a right to shine a laser in my eye. You know what I mean? That's a criminal offense.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
assault.
No, I think that's
assault,
fair,
brother.
Right.
Yeah, Milton Friedman faced a similar problem with this when it came to the question of pollution, because the catalytic converter didn't used to be mandated in all vehicles. But what the emission standards came down from the feds, the EPA regulated the emissions so that cars were no longer just chugging out black smoke. And the question was the cost of the mandate versus the payment, of not having the mandate was higher, or it was higher to not have the mandate than it was to have it, because at the end of the day, it was just simpler to say nobody can chunk black smoke like coal and tar into the environment. You have to have a catalytic converter installed in your vehicle. So at some point you have to ask yourself, if everybody's getting their eyes toasted by other people, maybe it doesn't need to be a federal mandate, but I mean, I don't know that like on a state level, I'm not against a law that says you can't laser people's eyes out. There might have to be something like that when it comes to burning people's eyeballs with vehicle lights, right?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, there. I guess we're no longer libertarians. Not a real libertarian.
I'm a rhino. That's been established.
Yeah,
well,
that's true.
I'm not a libertarian or a rhino or a Republican anymore, right?
You're a rhino, Republican, and we're going to speak to. We're going to cleanse our spirit with Angela McCardle at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. So we'll feel like real libertarians again.
There you go.
Number 4 on this list, Camelia. Not everything needs to be recorded, photographed, and posted online whether it's for good, like taking excessive vacation pictures, or for bad, like recording arguments between strangers. I guess this is my turn to blush, Camellia. I might be considered a perpetual overshare, but I have a baby, so get over it. I'm taking pictures and posting them.
So somebody mentioned to me the other day, made a comment about how prolifically sharing you and Corey DeAngelis have been on the socials lately, because you both have new babies. And I was like, we give a little latitude, to that, because I'd rather see that new dad enthusiasm than not, right? But yes, now, like, it's all things in moderation, right? There are limits. I do like to see like the beautiful things that other people appreciate. I mean, like, you can leave your thirst traps at home, and like,
Shut
whatever.
up, Camellia.
Does my butt look good in the sunset or whatever, so like, but I think, people sharing their joy, or things that have been meaningful to them are online are fine. But look, I'm not going to look through like 30 of your vacation pictures, probably. And I probably don't need to know all of the intimate details of your life. Can we also just lump in there too, like, oversharing in general on social media?
Yeah, Camellia, I get a pass because I have a beautiful little redheaded libertarian baby. And obviously there is such a thing even with oversharing with that. So I try and, maybe one a day is what I, bring myself down to. But obviously I'm a proud papa, so I get a little bit of latitude there, little bit of leeway. But yes, sometimes people are oversharing. Now, when it comes to posting the bad stuff, if somebody's like are having an argument in public, yes, post that. Yes, put that in the compilation stuff. That's entertainment. That's how I live. Don't take away my one good source of entertainment is to see two trash ghetto whatever, going at it on the street, yelling in some unintelligible language. We should enjoy that kind of stuff. So it's
Does that make us better humans, though?
No, but I've given up on being a better human.
Okay.
I've given up on any of that. The urge to save humanity is almost always the false urge to rule humanity.
Fair. Yes.
HL Mencken, a little bastardization there for you.
That's right.
Okay, next on the list of things that millennials kind of understand where boomers are coming from on. Number 5. This was more during the pandemic, and it still does happen whenever you go to certain cities, like when I'm in Kansas City. But for the love of God, give us a real menu, right? Don't just give us the snap a picture and open and download the app, and then open them and then click give us a 5-star review on the app before you've even ordered at the menu. No, I'm not downloading the app so I can look at a menu.
Right. So I went to a restaurant a few days ago that actually had kind of a good balance on this, and they did this in a smart way with a QR code, because they had a regular menu, which was great, but it's kind of like, but they also, their craft beer list, like, that rotates in and out, right? So you did have to scan the QR code to see what their current, beer list was, which I'm good with that, right? I understand that you can't reprint a menu every time your stock changes or what's on tap. So that's good. But like the whole menu, no, thank you.
Okay, so let's move on to the next item on this list here, Camellia, because we've got a lot. Manners go a long way. Having and using manners makes you feel good. When I lived in New York and DC, my friends were always shocked at how polite I was to like people who would check me out, or I would do things like, if there was a janitor in my building, I would say hello to them and use their name. If they had a name tag on, I would use their name. And this is just how I was raised. Now, Stephanie is, I mean, here's the thing. She's from Michigan, and Michigan's nice, but they're not as nice as we are in Missouri. She even commented on that when she moved to Missouri, how polite everybody was to each other. We sort of take it for granted, Camellia. But if you've never lived outside of Missouri, then I can tell you that people are very mean to each other and cruel to service employees. And honestly, when people on the East Coast and West Coast, when they talk to if they talk to service employees at all, it's better that they don't, right? Like, they would be nicer if they would just not interact with them, because they are so hateful and cruel to service level employees. People just don't have manners anymore unless they live in Missouri, right?
I guess so. I mean, like, I hate that, but it's funny. Someone just told me recently, like, when they are taking job applications and stuff, that it's not like it's not the norm for people to put, I mean, it should be the norm, but it's not the norm for people to put cover letters on anymore. So they actually really often don't get cover letters with resumes. And I was like, how do you not know that or do that? I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
like
like,
things
who
that
are
should
you?
be
Like,
common
why do
sense.
you want
Right.
this job? Your resume tells me like very little about you other than where you have worked, but I know nothing about you as a person.
Right. Yeah. So I like it across the board, 100%. The thing is, it's like the golden rule, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe people don't like to be spoken to, so they don't speak to other people. Okay, whatever.
It's the
But I
situation
mean,
we're in.
we should want to making other people feel good about themselves, and that good cheer makes the world a better place.
Yes. Now, I admit that I used to be a young, brash teenager, college student. I had a white Camaro with T-tops when I was in college, and I loved to go fast, and I loved to drive around, pick up my friends in it, and drive fast like a young hooligan. Now I'm old and I have a child and I'm bitter and I see young people in their sports cars and I say to them, "Rah, slow down." But
Stop driving through the neighborhood so fast.
yes, but seriously, like there are kids who like drive motorcycles and like dirt bikes and things at like 50 miles an hour down our private road. And it's like, yo,
Yeah.
first of all, slow down. Second of all, get the fuck out of our private neighborhood. We live here because we want to stay away from people who are hooligans.
Right.
So
That would scare me from a safety perspective, because I've driven through that area to your house before, and I remember like one evening around dusk, I was not going really fast, but there was like a 6-year-old or 7-year-old on a bicycle, and like if I had not been going slower, like he would have been hard to see, and so like you can't have kids in the area if you're going to go zooming through the neighborhoods. That's reasonable.
common courtesy, yes. And sometimes you would see the signs, and I look at them so differently now. Because when I was a kid, I'd see the signs that are like "slow down," and it's like "shut up, get out of my way." And now I'm like, oh god, I'm glad that sign is there. But if you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm Austin Peterson. Almost 4,000 people watching the Wake Up America show live. Wow. Actually,
Nice.
no. 4,000 people, 3,000 some odd over on X and 904 on rumble.com. To what do we owe the pleasure today? I think my strategy is really starting to pay off. A little bit of back end finagling and a little bit of front end. Thank you to rumble.com for featuring us and introducing us to all these
Awesome.
beautiful people. If it's the first time that you've watched the Wake Up America show and you're having fun, enjoying the content, you want to click that follow button before you leave the stream today. In fact, just do it right now so you don't forget. Click follow on the Rumble chat and then join us again tomorrow morning. It's a great show. It's a lot of fun. We'd love to have you be a regular guest. If you're watching us on X, it's so much harder for me to get in contact with you over on X because of the way the platform works. I can't really, know who you are over at x.com. So I would love it if you join us over on Rumble and say hello in the comment section. Join the live crew today over at rumble.com/AP for Liberty. You can see the spelling. It's on my hat. Camelia, next item on this list of things that millennials are saying to boomers. Okay, boomer, I actually get where you're coming from. I am not instantly available at any waking moment just because it is technically possible for me to see your message immediately on my electronic device. If we didn't have prior plans to be in contact, please allow 24 to 48 hours for a response to all non-emergency communications. You liked this one so much, Camelia, that you posted it on your X timeline today.
It's true. So the question for you, do you have read receipts turned on?
No. I don't do that.
So
I think that's kind of like, I kind of look down on that. I'm like, don't do that to me. Like that's, I
Yes.
see your stinking message, and it's like every text message, every single text message, you need to know that I saw it.
So I do have them turned on. I have a few different reasons for that, but there is like a downside, and it's why a lot of people don't have them turned on, is because that there is this assumption that if somebody has seen your message and they leave you on red,
you're not my boss. You're not the boss of me.
Right?
Are you paying my bills?
They've seen my message and they did not respond to me. Oh my gosh. Right. So people take that personally, but I know that the people in my circle and my friends don't have this expectation that I respond to them instantaneously, even if I have seen their message, because, maybe I saw it while I was driving or whatever and couldn't answer right away, or, there's a dozen different reasons. But yes, no, it is and I get, there are people who give me a hard time all the time too, because I don't have my phone silenced at night. I don't mess with it. I don't know. I know that I can, but there's not very many people that call me, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. All right. The next one. This one is such a big story, Camelia, that the Wall Street Journal literally wrote an entire damn article about it. Gen Z thinks everyone is doing the heart sign wrong, and we millennials are looking at how Gen Z is doing the heart sign and feeling very uncomfortable about it. I'm pulling it up on the screen right now because I'm going to have a hard time doing it, but it's like this.
Is that the right way or wrong way?
This is the Gen Z, the wrong way to do the heart sign. The right way to do it, yeah. All right, audience members, everybody do the heart, okay? This is how you do a heart, okay?
This is not the heart anymore.
Yeah. You do the heart like this, right? Like this. There's the heart, like this.
Yeah, besides, how much easier is that to do, right?
Yeah, have to do, what is this crap? It's like, hold on, hands down, hold on.
My coordination skills are being put to the test.
That is not a heart. That is some deformed organ. Maybe a first world problem, but do they just feel like they need to stand out, I guess. You have nothing to say.
No, I just I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Okay, so number 10, speaking of read receipts, if I say something to you, I'd like an acknowledgement that you heard me. Okay, you're not my boss, and now you're not my mom, okay? You're not my dad, okay?
Right.
Are you hearing, when someone does that to me, which I won't say who it is who does that to me, it's like, are you listening? And it's like, yes, but now in the future, I might not, just to spite you, right? You're not my dad.
Okay, yeah. So I think this is really, there's context here, right? And I do think that, so I get accused of this sometimes, and it's probably because if I'm focused on something else, but I'm also listening, then I might not reply immediately.
Maybe you should say something more interesting.
So I will confess that my daughters do accuse me of this from time to time. However, that said, I do think that to a certain extent, it is polite common courtesy to acknowledge in some way, that someone has spoken to you. Now, I think that you have to engage and make it a whole conversation, because that's not always necessary, right? I mean, if there's really nothing to say about it, every once in a while, one of my girls will say well, you didn't say anything back. I was like, well, I didn't really think there was anything to say, right? I mean, there was we have to have a whole conversation about it. I get it. I heard you,
Yes.
great.
So there's how many of these things here we're not going to be able to get through?
Oh, there's a bunch, right?
Do you remember any others that we missed that perhaps you really wanted to talk about? There's no reason my appliance or television needs an internet connection.
Yeah, my take on this is the more internet connections you have to things like that, the more is likely to go wrong and break, and you can't fix it. And then somebody really pricey has to fix it.
Yes. Okay. So the last topic that we only have a few minutes to discuss, Camelia, is the new trend speaking of trends, the new trend in dating, which is that the young couples show their credit score to each other. And I think that you might think that I'm going to go one way with this, but you know what? I'm actually going to go another way. And I'm going to say, you know what? Good. Honestly. But I want to see hers first, because I think a lot of these young bitches be broke. And I think and I think that a lot of these young men who are in trades and who are saving and scrimping and putting together, from their welding jobs that they have after working at Lintech and stuff like that, they got bank. And I'll bet you that these young ladies nowadays don't have nothing. I bet their credit scores are wrecked. So I'm for it, as a matter of fact. There needs and there's a dating app apparently for it. And you know what?
Right.
I think that if I was still young and handsome and single, that'd probably be the one to go on. I'd be honest.
So I'm slightly conflicted about this, but not very much. I actually think it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, both ways too, but yes, totally get it. You know, that if we're going to talk about traditional roles and the man is going to end up being more of the provider, that you definitely want to know how your potential wife, girlfriend, whatever, manages her money, right? And so, does the credit
it's like if
score?
you're gonna come at me with pay for dinner tonight, I'm like, I'll be okay, but I want to know if you're capable of paying for the next meal at least.
Sure. Like, I mean, like, is it going to tell you everything? Of course not. It's not a guarantee, right? I mean, somebody can have a low credit score and there can be lots of very good reasons for that. But I do think that at least it is worth talking about, just because it's worth having that conversation. There are not enough people who have that conversation about money management before they get into a serious relationship or get married. So I'm all in favor of this, and it kind of prompted me to go. I hadn't checked my credit score in a while. So last night, I went and checked my credit score, and I'm doing just fine.
Oh, really? So hold on. Let's pretend like you're out on a date with a young gentleman who's here watching the show. So he says to you, "What's your credit score, Camelia?" And you say,
It's 780. Thank you very much.
780. That's all.
That's all. I know, right? I'm aiming for the 800, but I haven't gotten there yet. Here's the deal, though. This is why you can't say.
Club.
Oh, shut. Well, here. Okay. Well, I'm going to throw something in here on you. Now,
She's
listen.
broke.
Here's my excuses.
Here they are, gentlemen. This is the best date ever. Here we go. Here's your excuses.
Like, so this is going to feed into all kinds of things.
Let's hear it.
So here we've talked about this before. I went the traditional route. I was the stay-at-home mom and and wife for a lot of years. And the thing is like, when you do that, a lot of stuff is not in your name. And so you don't build I had like this 11-year at least, gap where I didn't have things that were feeding into a credit score. So when I had to start over, it was like really starting over. And I had to start with this teeny tiny credit card because I couldn't, I had no credred score. So really, like in the last 5 years to have built it up to that is good.
Mom. Oh, the poor single moms. No, not the poor single moms. No, the 700 credit scores. Listen.
So ladies, even if you're married, it's still a good idea to have things in your name and maintain your credit score. I mean, like in spite of everything that Dave Ramsey is going to tell you, there is value in maintaining a credit score.
You let him hit it raw. Now you're a single mom. Neil Struharic, our buddy, actually, and we've been conspiring, and he got me set up with the new Chase trifecta, where you get like 3 Chase credit cards, and you like run the business with the business card, and then you have like the 2 personal cards underneath to like maximize your point potential. And our credit score is like amazing, thanks to Neil. We appreciate that.
He is very good at that.
He's very good at that. Yes, we appreciate him for all the insider tips that he gave me on how to game the Chase system. Camelia, anything else that you say, or forever shall you rest in peace?
No, everybody go out there. I know that the election is in November and it feels like an eternity from now. And, I was talking with Scott Fawn, our friend Scott Fawn, the other day about this. It's like, everybody just wants to be angry all the time. Like everybody eats up anger and outrage, and people just need to lighten up. And, somebody was, Aaron Clary was making fun of me on Instagram for that, because I'm like, I'm out here, we need to come together, right? And like, things, supersede partisan bounds. And he was like, you're so innocent. I'm like, look,
naive,
often I've had this conversation.
Naive. He meant to say naive.
we need the diplomats, right? So I'll be the diplomat. So anyway.
Okay, sure, Camelia, with your 700 credit score.
780.
780. Okay. I think we made Camelia blush enough today. Rare Camelia on X.com. Follow her over on X.com, you 3,000 watchers of the show. And she'll be back with us on Thursday. Thank you one more time, Camelia. We appreciate it.
Have a great day, everyone.
Have a good one. You guys enjoy the Wake Up America show? I know you do. Click that like button. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. Do you like my Rumble hat? My beautiful Rumble cap can be yours as well. Rumble's exclusive apparel has finally arrived. They're now offering 20% off all purchases in the Rumble store with the discount code DROP20, DROP 20. If you want to support the brand that's fighting for free speech and fighting for our First Amendment, this is the best way to do it. They've got tees, sweaters, hats, plus much more. Go to rumble.store and make sure to enter the code DROP20 as the promo code to get 20% off your entire order. There you go. Get that Rumble hat. Beautiful stitching. Love it. Can you see let me get a little bit closer there, that gorgeous embroidered Rumble hat in the trucker style. Love it. Love Rumble. Thank you to rumble.com for all you do for freedom and to support the Wake Up America show. Okay, Angela McArdle is a real libertarian. You know what I mean? No. Oh, no such thing, right? Oh, no? Okay. I can first. We're $44 towards the $60 goal to unlock today's bonus content. We're getting close. Getting scared, a little bit sweaty. Means we got to go to a commercial break. Don't go away. Let's hear about how the third parties are faring in this election. What's the dirty deal with RFK? What's going to be the outcome for the Libertarians this fall? Talk about that with Angela McArdle when we get back on the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. Don't you go anywhere. Be right back. So far.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here, and we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, what was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. Glad and thankful to have you here. Thanks for sticking around on the show today. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. It's morning in America again. There you go again. It's 8:36 on 8/20/2024, and Angela McArdle is not in the house. Angela, where are you? Hopefully Angela McArdle will join us at some point in this conversation, but if she doesn't, then that just means that you and I get to hang out. Doesn't that make you happy?
No, God!
No, God.
Please, no!
The Wake Up America show streams live Monday through Friday. That's 5 days a week, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. See that little phone number down there on the bottom of the screen? That's your direct line to me, AP, 573-319-1586. And this little thing right back here that you see is my fan, because damn, it gets hot in this studio. I love getting up early, though, and hanging out with people like yourself. You're so handsome. You're so beautiful, so attractive, so smart. That's why you've already clicked the like button. You know, only attractive people click the like button on the stream, and only beautiful, sexy, smart, attractive, intelligent people click the follow button as well. Are you one of those people? I know you are. Britt Hume commented on Joe Biden's speech last night at the Democratic Convention. I'm going to play that for you, but here's a quick little highlight of Joe Biden talking last night.
In his decision overturning Roe v. Wade, as you heard earlier tonight, the United States Supreme Court majority wrote the following, quote, women are not without electoral or political power.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
What did you say, Mr. President?
Quote, women
quote
are not without
I guess I have to say that I just love that he said quote, because that's definitely not the quote. Women are not without electrical power.
Women are not without electoral.
Oh, wow, they didn't allow women to have electrical power either? Man, things have been rough on you gals. Joni Rankin, Camellia, Courtney Conover in the chat. Ladies, I know I'm hard on you, but man, not as hard as those old patriarchs used to be. They didn't even allow you guys to have electricity.
Wrote the following, quote, women are not without electoral or political power.
Cheer them through it, guys.
No kidding.
No kidding. I love that. No kidding. Brett Hume wrote the epitaph there on Joe Biden's speech.
Swan song. This is it. And he spent an awful lot of it in almost angrily defending his record in office and making his claims about the things he'd achieved and so on. There was not any evidence that he was aware that a great many people in this country had lost confidence in him and had a long time ago. But there he goes. Party relieved, but he's done.
Oh, damn, he's done, says Britt Hume, a political swan song. The Democrat tried to start a "We Love Joe" chant, and let's just see how it went.
Thank you, Joe, and God bless you. We love you. We love Joe. We love Joe. We love Joe. We love Joe.
Oh, no.
Thank you all. We love Joe. God bless you, and thank you very much.
Jill. The signs that read Jill. I think they love Jill more than they love Joe. Very, very pathetic. Election denier Jamie Raskin freezes during his DNC speech after his teleprompter presumably malfunctioned. Although, if one noted that they knew the Constitution, this wouldn't be a problem. Take a listen.
Someone should have told Donald Trump that the president's job under Article 2 of the Constitution
is what? Is what?
Someone should have told Donald Trump.
Wait, where's my Kamala Harris? Where's my Kamala Harris cackle there? Now, what was the president's job?
The president's job under Article 2 of the Constitution
is. Okay, I can first. Well, Jamie, you think he just fell out of a coconut tree? Yes. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez affected herself an accent in her speech last night.
And I, for one, am tired of hearing about how a two-bit union buster thinks of himself as more of a patriot than the woman who fights every single day to lift working people out from under the boots of greed, trampling on our way of life.
Can you imagine if I got up and gave a speech somewhere and I was like, let me just tell you now, my fellow Republicans, if we live in a society where families and working families are not able to afford a living, can I get an amen? Can I get a hallelujah? Praise, I thank you, Lord Jesus. And when I get up here and talk to you fellow Republicans, I say we need to cut spending. We need to cut taxes. We need to cut the budget. Can I get an amen? Hell yes. What's the difference? She ain't black, so why is she talking like that? I mean, I have just as much a right to talk like that, like a preacher for Jesus, for my principles, as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez does. Can I get an amen? Can I get a hallelujah? Yes. For the 1,000 people tuning into the Wake Up America show over on Rumble Live this morning, woohoo! Sorry you caught me on a weird moment there. No, just kidding. It's all weird moments. The Wake Up America show is a 5-day-a-week show. You need to be a regular guest. You need to hang out with us. And that's why you click the like button and then you click the follow button. And we have a magical journey together. And, you know, when the Democrats say,
do not come. Do not come.
We say,
I'm going to come.
That's right. The Wake Up America show, baby. I'm going to come. Oh, that's right. We also say,
from now on, it's going to be
yes, Mr.
America
President?
First. Okay?
Yes.
America first.
That's right. It's America first. If Democrats accidentally tune into the show, they'd be saying something like,
how dare you?
But the rest of us, we feel pretty damn good. So why don't you click the like button and follow the channel and be a regular guest? It's time for us to have a little bit more fun. Now, unfortunately, Angela McArdle was supposed to be here and tell us about how third-party politics are going. She's not here. What can I do about it? But at least I brought some entertaining clips to play for you. AOC at the DNC. Damn, that really does. Man, I just love what you can do with filters these days. Here we are, her true demonic form. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez at the DNC last night. There you go. If you missed that one, I had to play it for you. Although the clips that Courtney Conover sent me last night of this lady telling off Antifa to their faces, I found to be quite compelling. If you saw it earlier, I apologize, but many people are tuning in live, so we're going to listen to it again because it's so damn good.
What's happening in Gaza? I was out here too.
All right, then.
But it comes a time, God damn it, when it's time to go home. People want to go home.
Encampment. That Palestinians are asking us to encamp and escalate. That's what we're doing out here. It's a public park. We escalate. We encamp it for the people, for Gaza. If you ain't got to be with it, that's cool.
I understand what you're saying.
All right, then we cool.
But enough is enough.
All right, well, then you don't have to do it.
Enough is enough.
We out here. We going hard for the Palestinians, man.
Enough is enough. You know, Kamala is supposed to be black.
Kamala is supposed to be black. Now, listen, she gets an excuse to talk like a preacher woman, and she about to preach.
I'm definitely trying to support her, too. Y'all gonna fuck up the whole convention for Chicago, make it a bad... They already say this a bad town. This ain't no bad town. It's just bad people in the town.
Bad cops in the town?
I ain't worried about the police. That's who I gotta call if something happens to me.
Worried about John
If something happens to me, I don't have nobody else to call. I don't know your phone number. I know 911. So you get up off the police. Y'all need to get y'all lives together. Like that preacher say, y'all hate people. You gotta forgive people. You gotta forgive people. It's bad in every race. But right is right and wrong is wrong.
Wrong is wrong.
All these scared ass people out here.
Apartheid and genocide is wrong.
Listen, it's wrong what's happening. I was out here for that. But I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like the people jumping them damn gates and shit. Okay.
If you don't support the Palestine Antifa white boys for Joe Biden, then you ain't black, sister. I'm sorry to say. No.
Okay.
I did jump. I ain't that damn stupid.
Freedom not associated.
My thing is, I'm voicing my opinion. When enough is enough, enough is enough. That's all I got to say. And I'm a West Side gangster with goddamn heels on.
I'm a West Side gangster with goddamn heels on. This lady is priceless.
These shoes, I go barefooted. I'm not trying to
Look at her. She's got like her looks like her fuzzy footies on, man. You don't want her taking those chanclas off and beating you over the head with it, Antifa.
against you. I'm trying to say enough is enough.
I appreciate your support. And I agree.
I'm gonna say what the fuck. I've been here all my life. I was raised in the Henry Horner Project. I don't know where the hell you came from, but I was raised right across the street. Union Park is where we have our reunion every year. But my thing is, enough is enough. Look at y'all got the police ready to kill y'all, but y'all won't say
always ready to kill y'all. They show me right.
They ready to kill your ass and mace your ass. They ready, but I don't understand why aggravate people. But why aggravate people?
I love it, man. Give it up. That lady. So good. New merch drop over at forlibertyshop.com. Comrade Kamala. Kamala? Just in time for Halloween. Get your Comrade Kamala shirts available at forlibertyshop.com. There's a lot more than just Comrade Kamala shirts. We also have an incredible collection of Courage Under Fire. Celebrate the power of Trump's defiance against his attempted assassination. This one, the Donald Trump wa itike iru, the Japanese manga tee, available exclusively at forlibertyshop.com. Why exclusively? Because I designed the damn thing. And as you can see, it says on the left-hand side here, Donald Trump wa itike iru. Hai, arigatou gozaimasu. Hai, ohayo gozaimasu. Hi, and yes, I am speaking Japanese there. This is not some cultural appropriation moment. Donald Trump wa itike iru. Donald Trump lives. In perfect Japanese. Hi, arigatou gozaimasu. Sure, there you go. You can get these shirts exclusively at forlibertyshop.com. Fight mugs, tumblers, sweaters for the upcoming season, mugs, the Trump Lives collection available at forlibertyshop.com. We love to see people shopping at the store, helping us to unlock the bonus content, because we haven't unlocked the bonus content just yet. Yes, we are at $45 towards the $60 goal, which means $15 would unlock the bonus content. So if you came and bought, for example, a pocket tee over at forlibertyshop.com, or let's say you really love the coffee experience that we offer, you can get a box of coffee, and that will unlock today's bonus content. Founding Flavors Coffee, where you can embark on a historical journey with Founding Fathers coffee blends and honoring the resolute spirit of our Founding Fathers. Buy more than one box and the savings add up. You can also subscribe for bi-weekly, monthly, or 2 to 3 month regular deliveries of our premium patriotic brews. Grab you a box. If you go to forlibertyshop.com, Mighty Megatron, it's at the very top of the shop. So just go to the shop and it's right there at the top. You can click, if you want to see the product page, on the text, Comrade Kamala Zombie shirt, and then you can purchase it right there in a variety of colors. We have Heather Forest, Vintage Black, and we also have, I think, a red one, poppy seed. Yes, beautiful poppy seed, which is a nice red color that you can get. 3 different colors available at forlibertyshop.com, and somebody just went and bought one. There you go. So that means you've unlocked the bonus content. Thank you guys, Lady Megatron. We appreciate you very much. Oh, it was Frickety Fred. Thank you, Fred. Glad you like the shirts. Grab yourself one. Now that means you'll unlock the bonus content, which means that we can end the show having hit our goals. Wow. How many people were watching the Wake Up America show today? Tons. 3,346 over on x.com. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Introduce yourself to me. Like when we have that many people over on x.com, I ask myself, how valuable is streaming on X? Because if there's 3,349 people over there, well, I don't know who you are, and I can't, be in contact with you, and I would love to get to know you and have you be a regular guest, and, let's work together and become freedom fighters and network and share information, and, let's take our country back from Kamala and the communists and the Antifa thugs and the NPC drones. I want to know who you are. Probably the easiest way, no friction way to do that is just head over to rumble.com right now. rumble.com/AP4Liberty, and when you do, then you click follow on the stream. You'll be able to find us there, no problem again. tomorrow morning at the same time, right? So you subscribe to the Rumble channel, you'll be able to find me again, no problem, tomorrow morning. But, you know, there's other ways that you can hit me up. See that text line at the bottom of the screen? Send me a text. I love your feedback. Tell me what you like about the show, what you don't like about the show, if you have guest suggestions, things like that. I just love to know how you found me this morning. So just say hi. Hey, Austin, saw the show, was able to tune in for a little bit, like this guest, didn't like that. This could be different, you know, good, bad, you know, constructive criticism always welcome at that text line, 573-319-1586. Again, the text line is open, 573-319-1586. You guys have unlocked the bonus content. It's going to play for you now as we play ourselves out. Exit through the Grift Shop at 4libertyshop.com. That's the number 4libertyshop.com. We'll see you guys here tomorrow on the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. Bye, guys.
Expanse of time, a year might seem like a mere moment, but oh, what a year it's been. In September 2022, Austin and Stephanie Peterson embarked on a journey to wake up America. They began humbly, with just 20 souls tuning in, learning, listening, and though challenges arose, like the looming shadow of YouTube demonetization, their spirit never waned. And now, thanks to you, thousands rise with the sun to join them, to listen, to engage, to be a part of a community. So here's to you, and to Wake Up America, for memories shared, for friends made, for the journey ahead, and for never, ever forgetting to rise and freedom. Happy anniversary.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Is the outdoor of your home about as exciting as a library? Then spice it up and unbore your space with our custom metal signs. Crafted with love and a bit of libertarian magic, you can customize your own metal sign at ap4libertyshop.com. So head to ap4libertyshop.com, customize your own metal sign today.
Welcome to a world of vocal discovery at Peterson Voice Studio. I'm Justin Peterson, here to guide your musical journey. Envision a place where your voice reaches new heights, where every note tells a story. We embrace all singers, from the enthusiastic shower vocalists to aspiring stars, ensuring each voice finds its unique rhythm and tone. Are you ready to elevate your voice? Visit petersonvoicestudio.com and sign up for remote lessons tailored just for you. Let's begin this melodious journey together.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP4Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados Tacos, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at apforlibertyshop.com.
Thanks so much for watching the Wake Up America show. Before we go, I wanted to remind you all about our friends over at rumble.com's coffee, 1775 coffee, which is a great way to start your morning as well. I know we have a lot of people out there who are ready to say goodbye to Starbucks. Unlike other brands, their coffee does support free speech. Visit 1775coffee.com. Use the promo code STUDIO to get 15% off. Their coffee comes in medium and dark roasts, and it is premium. Click the link in the live chat or the description. You can also go directly to 1775coffee.com and use the promo code STUDIO to get 15% off today. That's 1775coffee.com.